Welcome to Lila Studios. Today, February 10th, 2023. This is episode 51. We are one away from 1 year. And the pace we're going, I'm not sure we're going to make it, Rip. Technological difficulties. Been here over an hour. No idea what's going on. Now the camera doesn't work. The microphones weren't working. The internet wasn't working. Nothing's working here at Lila Studios. We need more members. We need more money. We need more technology. We need something, Rip. How's your book, man?
Oh, I'm reading the John Mellencamp book. It's awesome. I don't know if it's any of he's like Dusty. I don't know if it's any of it's true or anything. I don't know if my friend told me microphone's working or not. I got my Seymour Boys Club t-shirt on, but you can't see
it with the camera down
with
here.
the camera down here and there. Is the camera even working?
Let me see. Yeah, look at it. Here.
Oh, there's a Seymour. Now, but I can't get
there.
There
Boys
it is.
Club, baby. Look at that.
There, Seymour Boys Club.
I'll just hold the
Shades
the
of Harry C. Cherry, Cloyce Jackson.
God, what a day. Episode 51. We're about 2 hours late. It's mostly my fault. All my fault, really. Some technology issues, internet issues, Wi-Fi issues. I don't understand it. Thought I had it all under control, Rip, and man.
Well, as Ernie Ladd would say, Lilas, you dumbed yourself out of business.
Yeah.
Bundy, you big fat turd, you did too.
Fortunately, we don't have much of a business, so I'm not dumbing myself out of much. Speaking of business, Rip, I lost it. Like, subscribe, smash.
Where's our book at?
Where's my phone at? You know where my phone is? 3,200.
Should I
right
call
over
you?
there. I'll get it. No,
there it is. I could call it and it could ring
3,000. I think it's 3,000.
It's 2,000.
Oh, 2,300. That's what it is. We just hit 2,300 subscribers on YouTube.
You going to drink a 7-Up on TV or that? Let's drink a toast. We'll drink some coffee.
No, but I'll tell you what. Next week is a year, Rip. Next Friday on this show is going to be 1 year.
Ouch.
How I've ever sat in this room, in this studio for a year with you, I'll never know. I should get some kind of bonus just for putting up with your ass for the last 52 weeks.
That was rather sexual. You put up a bonus with my ass. In other words, you're talking about wanting to put a bone up my ass.
Only you would take it that way.
Huh?
Only you would take it that way. 1 year, we're getting hammered. Next Friday, we are getting hammered on this show. We're going to do dangerous drugs. We're going to drink multiple shots. I'm starting off today. I'm drinking mimosas for breakfast. Next Friday, Rip, I am going to be smoked by the time we start recording.
You're talking about hammers.
Smoked.
Are you talking? Or first you said hammered. So you was talking about Dylan Bostic or Romer's hammer or Charles Alfred's hammer. I mean,
I wish I had a big hammer, so then you could say, you're talking about Von Lilas's hammer or whose hammer or Von Lilas. I never get mentioned in that.
You're 6'5". You used to be 6'6". Now you're short. You're 6'5". So
even shorter.
I mean, if you have an average length snabitz for your height, it should be well above average. It could be like Tony Falk's big 7.
It's not little.
But you got some tremendous girth, don't you?
No
tremendous.
You know
girth.
what though? I've made it this long. I'm damn near 50. I mean, I've had sex with a few people here and there. I hope my wife doesn't watch the show. A few people here and there.
Were any male or anything?
I've had a couple kids.
You didn't answer the question.
None of them have been male. No.
Oh, I was just checking.
But I'm just saying, at this point in time, who cares? It doesn't matter anymore.
No, wait a minute. If you're hungry, you eat. If you're thirsty, you drink. If you're cold, you put a coat on. And if you're horny, what do you do?
No, I didn't say horny. I said it doesn't matter how big my snabitz is.
Oh.
At this point in time, I'm not worried about my.
Yeah, you are.
No, I mean, no, not anymore. I mean, I made it through my prime.
No, you're at your prime now.
I just always the prime of life, baby. That's why I developed the magic tongue, Rip. That's why. Yeah, you got to make up for it with the magic tongue.
Well, the real magic tongue is when you can take them out.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I think that's a little questionable.
Hey, you put some darker on your beard. You're looking younger today.
I did today. Well, I trimmed it up and I darkened it today. Yeah, so you noticed it, huh?
Yeah, I noticed you got the ball cap on tight. You don't want me to grab it and take it off.
Hey, I had it off earlier.
Holy shit.
I think I'm starting to
grow my God, that fucking light was just shot.
So like, subscribe, smash. We got new t-shirts, man. If I just could get over there and get my phone, I'll do that in a minute. Show the design. We got new t-shirts. ProWrestlingTees.com. Go to the Rip Rogers store, not this and it's a shirt called Wrestling with Rip Rogers. That's where you'll see it. Wrestling with Rip Rogers. We got it at the very low price at $22.99, baby. Inflation, $22.99. Go pick you up a couple of the Rip Rogers Wrestling with can't even say it. Wrestling with Rip Rogers t-shirts.
It's the greatest shirt in many, many months, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really an awful design because I did. It's just this little logo here, and they blew it up on a shirt.
It's fantastic.
But
it's the greatest T-shirt that talks about wrestling with Rip
who
Rogers.
gives a rip, right?
Yeah.
Hey, no pun intended. Did you hear me? Who gives a rip? Did you get that?
No. Okay.
We might have to come back and finish this show because we are going live today. So today's Monday. You're watching this Monday. We're going to go live today at noon. I think Nick Eugene Dinsmore is going to join us today for a little bit, Rip. Not the whole show, but for a little bit.
Just a little bit, huh?
Yep.
Hey, did you see the Outrunners on AEW?
Oh, hold
TV?
on now. Hold on.
Okay,
hold on.
Oh, hold on.
We were supposed to have Kevin Seven Thorne Mordecai in, but he called in sick yesterday. So he's going to be on another time. February 17th, we're going to have Chris Cage, Rip, who was, what was his name? Do you know his name in WWF?
I thought
he was a dude buster with that Trent,
Yeah.
Trent Beretta and Caitlin Croft.
Yeah, that was.
I knew
his
if I
name.
said one, I'd say the other. Caitlin Croft, Chris Cage, Chris Pavone. I guess he's a big shot now. He'll tell us all about it. He's going to be going live with us February 17th, Rip. Then we're also going live Thursday night, February 23rd, Rip. Put it on your calendar. Thursday night, February 23rd. Former WWE superstar, OVW superstar, Tank Tolan, a.k.a. what was his name? He was one of the Dicks, right? Chad or not Chad, but do you remember their names? The Dicks.
Well, the Dick brothers, they hate, and it is always fighting.
I think they were fighting in like real life.
That's what I mean.
Oh,
yeah, they didn't get along or something.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, he'll come on and tell us. I've heard both their stories. It sounded like they got they were under some of that.
They probably got ribbed by the other guys so much.
Yeah, but anyway, we'll talk about that when Tank comes on. So Tank Tolan, Rip, live on Thursday night, and Caitlin Croft. We got all the top stars coming back to Lila Studios. What do you think of that, Rip?
Well, I think we're just going to be just a ratings buster, smash and buy my book. And
they were called the Dude Busters. So
the Dude Busters. Okay.
I think. You know what they were called? Anyway, so I got two things basically I want to talk about on this show today. Two main things, Rip.
What's that?
Number one, you already alluded to, so we'll get that one out of the way right now. And last week, we had this big segment on these people, but we had those technological difficulties, so I trimmed it all out. And all I did was save the Lanny Poffo segment, Rip. That's up to like 700 views right now. Boom, it was over, baby.
Well, Lanny gets a lot of views because he was like a sexual legend.
And I think those 10 photos were good. You had some good photos, probably rarely seen photos, I would say.
Well, I'd hope they were rarely seen.
Well, they were of you, so not too many people saw them.
We were rather intimate in the ring.
So, that's funny because on the one I put as a YouTube short, I know you don't know what that means, but it got taken, not taken down.
Okay.
But it got to where I couldn't get it all the way monetized because they said that it was something, and that's the one where you said he touched me I liked his gentle touch, or he touched me in a provocative way, or something.
I didn't say
it was during one of the photos where he had you like in an arm bar, and you said something like, "I loved his touch," or something like that.
Oh my my!
And then YouTube put a little ding on it for that. I think can't say anything these days, Rip. Unbelievable.
I'm scared to say anything right now.
Oh, don't start that shit. So, the Outrunners, baby. We had a good segment on the Outrunners. I don't even know where to begin.
Well, you start. I can start
Outrunners.
here with my.
Tell me about the Outrunners while I get the phone.
Okay. Should I talk about Turbo and Floyd, or Turbo and
Floyd?
Well, the most important thing about the Outrunners, Turbo and it's cool to say Turbo and Floyd. Just as a rib, is the most important thing in life for them at this stage in life is to spin. No matter what happens in the ring, look like porn stars from 1980 and spin. Who cares if they can wrestle? Just spin. And then when you're on live TV, you can do a reverse spin and mess everybody up. Say, oh man, I've never seen that one before. So if you're wanting to watch wrestling where there's some spinning and you hear the Outrunners name, remember, there's two people, Out and Runners. Or no, it's Turbo and Floyd.
Out and Runners, Turbo and Floyd. So they've been on fire, man. They were in AEW. They had a good match against those one guys, the one brothers. It was a really good match. Strong
The Gun
match.
Brother? No, who? I don't know.
No, it was I don't know what they were called, the Flipty Dude guys. But then they had they wrestled the House of Black, Malachi Black, and the other dude, the big Brody King, House of Black. Great match, I thought there. You see that chop? It almost looked as good as my chop.
No, your chop will never be duplicated again.
I don't know. It was pretty
because
good.
we'll hear Chili's girlfriend going, and Randy selling his chest going, ooh, not Turbo or Floyd or both of them.
Are you asking for it? You wanted a rip, you got it.
Man, you got the quickest finger.
Laugh anymore, do you?
I just did.
So he came in and Brody King just smoked him. They did the spin. They got over. Then they were in a squash match. We talked a little bit last week against the and you let me know that their time got cut against the champs, the Acclaimed, the former champs. They just lost Wednesday night, by the way, to the Gun Brothers. So you informed me that their time got cut a little bit, but they came in to those guys. I just love but that was actually on Wednesday night. Wasn't even the other announcer. That was on Wednesday night. That was the main show. Did you watch it, Rip?
No, I missed it.
You watched some of it. Had to have.
Now, how could I have watched it if I'm at work? If it's Wednesday night.
So you can't. So there's no way you can watch anything if it's not live on TV. Like,
well, I don't watch.
You watch YouTube matches from you and Roddy Piper from 1970 something.
79.
Okay, well if you can watch that match,
no,
you can watch the
1980. That was the second time.
You can watch the Outrunners. That's the dumbest damn thing I've ever.
I watched Buddy. I watched Buddy Rock
show that I've ever heard in my life.
I watched Buddy Rock.
I couldn't have watched it. Like there's no YouTube or there's no phone.
Well, like I know how to do that.
And nobody send it to you. I was at work.
I watched Buddy Rogers versus Luthez yesterday. I watched him against Killer Kowalski.
You must not have worked yesterday then, huh?
No, I was at the gym riding a bike as I was fooling on my phone.
Unbelievable. So anyway, I gotta tell you though, and I played it for you, so you can't deny it. Cornette, man. Cornette goes on and rips the Outrunners a little bit. Calls them jobbers. Tells them they don't know what they're doing. They look like 90s rejects from, what was the guy he said hired him? Can't even remember his name.
Turbo and Floyd?
No, he said it looks like so-and-so would have hired. Don.
Jim Hurd?
No, Don Carrot. I just played it for you. Don something with a K. Greg Smith will know.
You played what for me?
Cornette, the clip of Cornette talking about the Outrunners in that match.
Oh, God.
Don't even start this shit. I'm not going through this shit another episode. I think here I compared to the same thing I compared like to Eugene. Like there's going to be people, I guarantee it, say stuff about, oh, it's the gimmick. And in reality, Randy, well, Shiloh too. Shiloh's been around forever. Are great workers, great wrestlers. Randy used to look like you want to call it a normal wrestler, if you will. But where'd that get him? Where'd that get either one of them? Just being normal, good wrestlers.
It got him not a job.
Got him nowhere.
They got a spin.
Yeah.
And Randy's one of the best workers. I had him teaching my class at OVW. That's how good he was.
Yeah. I mean, I hear Cornette and some of them say that, oh, Eugene killed Nick Dinsmore's, career. Well, we had Nick Dinsmore on here and asked him that. And he said the complete opposite. He said Nick Dinsmore was going nowhere. Nick Dinsmore was going to make no money. It didn't matter how good Nick Dinsmore was in the ring. They weren't going to do anything with him until he came up with Eugene. So Eugene put him in main events. Eugene put him with Ric Flair. Eugene put him against Triple H. Eugene headline pay-per-views. Nick Dinsmore wasn't going to do that.
Didn't he do something? Was it Hogan, Rock,
Vince
Rock,
McMahon,
or whatever?
He's been with all of them. So I say the same thing about the Outrunners. People say, oh, there's some people, which very few, I think they're very over. They were over on Twitter. We'll talk about MJF and AEW in a minute. There's going to be a handful of people that say, oh, they look like 80s porn stars and blah, 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 and this and that and the other. But Shiloh's been around 15 years.
Yeah, he's trained by Buddy Wayne.
And being normal. Hadn't got him where he's at being an outrunner.
When AEW put him on TV against the tag team champions, they had no music, no entrance, no nothing. And they weren't introduced as the Outrunners.
Correct.
They were just jobbers.
Right.
or whatever. But then the next week, all of a sudden they were stars.
So the next show was not on Wednesday night, but they did one of the YouTube shows the next Tuesday, and they beat, I don't know, two jobbers, Jorge Ortiz, or I don't know what his name is. All I know is one of them tweeted to watch the match, and I said, I think it was Logan Ortiz or something. I just tweeted back, I'm for Logan Ortiz. Oh. And then after the match was over, that guy commented on my tweet and said something like, thanks, sorry, man, let you down, or something like that after they lost.
Oh, my God.
So then the Outrunners win, man. They win on TV. They get a promo. They get an interview. They get everything. It's awesome.
Did they spin?
They did spin.
Okay.
They did it all.
That's all that matters then.
That's what I'm saying. So I was trying to lead a horse to water, but you wouldn't drink. What do you think of the gimmick? Do you think gimmicks like that are killers, or do you think they boost them?
If they give you, hey, the other way didn't work.
Correct.
So you got to change. That's all there is to it. How many times has Jericho reinvented himself?
Yeah.
People reinvent themselves, and all you got to do is please the boss. You please the boss, you got a job. If you don't please the boss, you ain't got a job. So try and find out what the boss likes, and if you get booked more, and if you're given more and more, get more of a character, whatever, and then all of a sudden, all you do is throw the in, and all of a sudden you're half-ass over.
I'm even going before that, not what the boss likes, but what's even going to get you noticed in the first place. I guarantee if they were Randy and Floyd instead of Turbo and Floyd with the bald hair and the Shiloh look, they probably would have never got booked in the first place.
They got to be some 1980s porn stars.
Yeah.
What the hell, right?
I think they're over. I think they're awesome. Twitter blew up, man, after that match. So AEW Rip tweeted out right here. It says, from All Elite Wrestling, the Outrunners, Turbo, Floyd, and Truth Magnum celebrate their first win on AEW Dark. Shiloh doing the promo, Randy with the big pose. And guess who retweeted that with a comment, Rip?
It was MJF, wasn't it?
MJF, baby. The world champion, the AEW world champion, MJF retweets it, and he says, I forgot what camera we're on. Now these are wrestlers.
Don't get any better than that.
Now these are wrestlers.
You know why? Because they spin.
That's why he thinks they're. So then somebody gets on there and starts going at MJF saying, this isn't part of your character. You shouldn't basically be putting other people over. And MJF says, they said he was out of touch. He says, nah, bitch, you're out of touch. Go jerk off to a gif of a Canadian destroyer. You effing dweeb. Wow. MJF putting over the Outrunners.
He did, but I'm triggered now.
Wow.
I'm triggered. I'm upset.
Triggered to do what?
I don't know. I can't remember what triggered means. Does that mean I'm upset or whatever?
I don't know. You said it.
I should have Greg look that up, Greg Smith, and he'll explain it to you what it is, because I'll forget anyway.
So if you've not seen the Outrunners,
Turbo and Floyd,
whether they're on while you are at work or not, there is something called YouTube. There's something called the internet. You go look them up. The Outrunners, Turbo and Floyd. Look them up. Put them over. Make great comments. Retweet their shit. Follow them on Twitter. Retweet their stuff. Get them over. Get them out there. We want the Outrunners to be signed a full-time contract with AEW. The Wrestling with Rip Rogers show is going to help make that happen. Isn't that right, Rip?
That's right. Hey, I'll try and get the Outrunners on here next week. How's that? What do you think?
That would be.
Well, if they sign him,
but
if they sign him, like today,
then yeah.
Or if they signed him in 10 minutes, we won't be able to do that. No, I'll try and get both of them on, Turbo and Floyd.
Turbo and Floyd on here. Do you think them coming on our show before getting signed will hurt their chances of getting signed?
Oh my God, they might. Well, maybe I better not ask them.
I'm just wondering if
Tony might get hot about it. We're trying to steal their account, knowing being on Lila Studios, they could make millions and zillions and trillions.
Do you think Tony's watching right now?
Let me see. No, he's fixing his glasses and he's picking his hair out and he's doing something so his eyeballs will pop out and he can look as Tony-ish as possible. That's a new word, Tony-ish.
Tony-ish. And Jimmy Cornette, as much as I listen to your show, and I agree with you 90% of the time, you're wrong on this one. I don't think you really realize that where they came from, where they trained at, what they really can possibly do. I mean, they're probably better workers than the majority of that roster on AEW. They're not jobbers. They've been around forever. And I think Cornette, if you really watched him and knew him, Turbo or Floyd, whichever, kind of messed up one little thing. But who on AEW doesn't mess up on a weekly basis? You know what I mean? So who gives a rip? Cornette, you're wrong on this one.
Wow.
Well, he is.
Well, it's just personal opinion, personal take, or
Nobody's
whatever.
Wrong. You don't. So do you think Randy's a good worker?
Randy's a great worker.
Okay. Well, he was terrible.
No, what he did was, hey, I'm not the one that said wrestling wasn't real on TV to anybody.
Correct.
Everybody, the big higher uppers, the leaders of the industry, the entertainment business, they've already said that this is not real. We are not paying taxes. It is not real. So don't get upset about it. So if your job is to look like a shitty worker, that you're not any good, that you're uncoordinated, you're going to take a hop, step to jump over the top rope. Hey, that must be what they wanted them for.
I never thought that spin of it. So you're saying,
hey, I can be as shitty as you want it. Yeah. What the hell, right? Hey, if you're any good, it's hard to get a job. Everybody loves you till you start doing better than them. I mean, Triple H, what happened with guys that come in with long hair? They all had to cut their long so he could be the one with long hair.
Somebody, speaking of exposing the business, God. So MJF had a match with the one guy from Japan or whatever, and it's a good match. I really actually liked it. But they catch on camera again in the middle of the ring, the referee giving the guy the blade and the guy trying to cut himself. Then at the end, after he's finally done it, after they show it on TV, they show the referee, him taking the blade, handing it back to the referee in plain sight of the camera at the end of the show. Now that's exposing the business. I mean, my God.
Just like we just did.
It's unbelievable.
Just like we just did.
We did?
I don't like doing that.
How did we do it?
Huh?
What do you mean? How did we do it?
We just... If nobody's actually seen it, now you're telling, look at this.
It's fucking all over Twitter.
Well, I haven't seen it.
It's everywhere. Wait, you must have been working. Rip was working that night. Sorry. He didn't see it.
No,
he
I
didn't see it. That it was on 9,100 million Twitter pages.
900,000.
Because he was working. It's fucking everywhere.
Oh.
The whole thing's everywhere. There's close-ups. Go to AEW botches. There's slow motion.
Do they have more? Do they have more people?
I'm sorry for exposing the business just now. That 900 million people on Twitter already did. Rip was working. He didn't see it.
Well, I didn't see it. I can't help it. Well, how stupid.
Unbelievable.
Well, I can't help it if AEW is owned by a guy that doesn't know anything about wrestling. Excuse me.
Yeah.
They should give me the Jacksonville Jaguars and I'll show them how to be Super Bowl champions. And I'll put my hair up. I'll get my hair dark again. I'll put the rollers in it, put a pick in it, have me some glasses, open my eyes real wide and hey, how's that?
That's great.
Okay.
All right. So that's enough about Cornette and the Outrunners, Rip. I got something bigger, badder, and better to talk about. Even bigger, badder, and better than the Outrunners.
What's that?
Your hometown, my hometown, a lot of legends' hometown. That's right, baby. Seymour, Indiana. I'm sure all these people that watch us worldwide, we got people out of the country, in the country, from coast to coast that watch this show. I bet they're real intrigued about Seymour, Indiana. What do you think?
A lot of places all over the world were banned because I cussed too early in the show and we've been banned and stuff.
Not really at all what I'm talking about, Rip.
Oh,
I'm talking
okay.
about
I
if
was
we
just
do
checking.
some stuff about Seymour, Indiana. Do you think the people out there are going to be interested in watching it?
Well, I guess if you're from Seymour, Indiana, you are, but I don't give a shit.
What about Portugal? We got somebody on here from Portugal. Do you think they'll care about the story?
No, I don't give a shit about what happened in Portugal.
Rip, that's not very
nice.
nice.
I said, yes, I want to know exactly what happened in Portugal in 1941. Hell yeah! What school did you go to in Portugal in 1941? Who was your school teacher? Who was the priest? God,
who was the priest? So. Yeah. I was watching this game. God, I meant to have this on. I am so out of it today. I meant to have it to be able to pull up right here. We'd probably get dinged from ESPN, though, so I probably shouldn't play it. But I was watching ESPN the other night, and they had a Bloomington, Indiana. The IU women's basketball team, number 2 in the nation, was getting ready to play number 5 Iowa for the Big Ten championship, I believe. And they showed a thing of Terry Moore, who is from our hometown of Seymour, Indiana. Terry Moore, who is the basketball coach of IU women's, with Mike Woodson and another Seymour legend, John Cougar Mellencamp. And the announcer, Rip, you know what the announcer said?
No.
Here's what the announcer said. The announcer said, those right there, Terry Moore and John Mellencamp, are the 2 most famous people to ever come out of Seymour, Indiana.
Well, that's this guy just talking, because how would he know? Is there an official poll or something like that?
Funny you ask.
Who is the most, what was the most famous people in Seymour, Indiana?
Yeah, he said these are the 2 most famous people from Seymour, Indiana.
Well, how would that guy know?
Terry Morin and John Mellencamp.
Who said that? How would he know?
Harold, I don't remember. T. Weasel knew his name because T. Weasel sent me a message.
Oh, okay.
T. Weasel sent me a message. Let me tell you. F. Stephen Bardo.
Oh, so Bardo, the Big Ten Network.
So I guess it was
put Seymour on the map. Oh, Weasel said he put
T. Weasel.
The Reno brothers died for a second, then Rip and Mount Rush, huh? What the hell? Weasel's full of shit.
He said, "Fuck Stephen Bardo." T. Weasel put Seymour on the map, baby. Reno brothers tied for second. The 2 brothers tied for second. Were there 2 of them, or were there more?
Yeah, the Reno brothers.
Well, I didn't know if there was like 5 of them, like the Gronkowski brothers. There's like 5. Of them.
It could have been 12. Yeah, maybe 47.
So they were tied for second. Rip and Mellencamp. So that's the Mount Rushmore of Seymour. Weasel, the 2 Reno brothers, Mellencamp, and Rip Rogers. That's according to T. Weasel.
Okay.
Like Terry, nobody knows her outside of IU. Well, except for the whole world that just saw her on the the telecast there. So what do you think, Rip? I know we've done some Seymour stuff in the past. So I actually Googled. You said, what kind of list? Give me a couple names you think are at the top, most famous.
Oh, it's got to be Mellencamp.
I mean, who else? Give me a couple others. Oh, wow. This is your time to shine, Rip.
Well, it's my time to shine.
I mean, we talked about this in the Lila's Cafe earlier.
Well,
I can edit that out.
Okay.
You don't got to give me the icky.
Okay, give me the icky. Okay. Well, I was on nationwide television for how long? For a lot of years. So they got to know.
So you're putting yourself in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd have to put Barron Hill in there because he was a senator. For how long? No, we're not even talking about his athletic accolades or whatever you call it. Accolades or whatever the fuck it is. But just because he was a senator, a worldwide politician and everything.
Yeah.
I would have your sister on there, but I was just a big fan.
Yeah.
So not a normal person not going to know that she was the leading scorer Seymour, the leading scorer Butler University, and what all the other shit she did. They're not going to know about that. Mm-hmm. So I thought the King would be in there too. Meaty W. Shields, the man that invented Seymour.
No, you just kind of skipped right over the King. The King, why would he be in there?
The King, well, everybody in my generation, for how many years your dad was a lifelong teacher in Seymour High School, and he was a principal. So almost every kid, how many years goes back, would know your dad. That's what I'm thinking.
These are like famous people. Like the people, like fame means people outside of Seymour knows them. These are famous people. The most famous people, not within Seymour, but from Seymour.
And then the girl that won the Miss America. But then again, you might say, there was a girl from Seymour. But no, who's going to know their name except they was a relative or they went to school with her? The girl that won.
Miss America.
Yeah.
Katie Stam.
Yeah. Okay, but I wouldn't have known her name unless you said that.
Look at that.
Who's that?
Nope.
Was that her?
Nope. Katie Stam was Miss America. So I'm going to find the list here, Rip. I thought you were going to tell me what you told me in Lila's Cafe. You even gave me the Iggy, like you were going to lead into it, and then you.
Well, you're looking at porn on your phone.
Then you didn't do any of it.
I got to get that thing.
Thought for sure we were going right into
on the car insurance.
Like
going to paper,
like we were supposed to do.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I forgot.
Totally I'm not sure why you gave me the Iggy. It didn't really pertain to.
I don't know.
For sure we were
what
going into.
What are you looking at?
For sure we were going into the script, but
I don't know.
But you didn't go there. So I looked up. I actually Googled famous fix. It says these are the top people out of Seymour. I'm not going to talk about every single person, but I'm going to name some. They have number 1, John Mellencamp. So we
okay.
I think we're all in agreement with that. John Mellencamp, number 1. Most people in the United States probably know John Mellencamp, or at least heard of him. Whatever. Number 2, Katie Stam, Miss America. So I think that's a good number 2. I mean, Miss America came from little old Seymour, Indiana.
I ain't buying that.
What do you mean you're not buying it?
Wait a minute. You asked my opinion. I'm telling you, I'm not buying that.
That she's number 2 or that she came from Seymour?
Nobody would give a shit. And who would remember in 19 whatever it was that she was Miss America unless you knew her from Seymour. So you'd have to live in there or in Jackson County to know that was in there.
Well, she's Miss America.
Nobody in South Carolina knows who the Miss America is. Oh, it's Katie Stam from Seymour, Indiana. Shit, they don't know that. Here's Miss America.
I think if you're Miss America, it's pretty popular. Number 3, right behind Miss America.
Who was Mr. America in 1972?
Lou Ferrigno.
Huh? No.
Lou Ferrigno.
Not Lou Ferrigno.
Boom, nailed it. Right behind Katie Stam. Now I know why you're hot. I get it. I understand now why this animosity toward Katie Stam is coming out.
What? I don't have any animosity.
Because number 3 is none other than Rip Rogers.
Oh.
So you're hot that you're one behind.
This is the first time I've seen that though.
Behind Katie Stam, I think
this is the first time I've seen
that. Right, but
well, it's got my age wrong. I'm 69 now. God, I'm closer to death.
What's that picture from? I used to have that.
Oh, that's from that's at the Seymour Armory.
Is it?
Yeah,
I've got it. I've got that picture somewhere, or used to.
Yeah, that picture is at the gym on the wall.
Number 4, Rob Weedoff.
Well, I just knew his dad, Rick Weedoff, who was a doctor and a left-hander on the 1967 basketball team.
So again, you people out there probably don't get Rob Weedoff, though, was the voice, John Marston. So if you ever played the video game Red Dead Redemption, I think it's called, Rob Weedoff from little old Seymour, Indiana, baby. Little old Seymour, Indiana. Rob Weedoff is the voice, John Marston. Pretty popular. Number 5, Rip. Danny Holly. Danny Basham, baby.
Well,
WWE Superstar.
Well, the good thing and the bad thing is, they got his name spelled wrong on there. But his name in WWE was Danny Basham.
Yeah. And
who would know he was Danny Basham unless you were from Seymour?
A lot of people have heard of Danny Basham.
No, I mean Danny Holly.
Oh, Danny Holly.
What his real name was.
Well, what if John Mellencamp never changed his name from John Cougar? He would still be John Cougar. Everybody know him.
Yeah.
Well, tell me. I mean, to your point, what does number 3 say?
Number 3.
Yeah.
Oh, Rip Rogers.
Is that your name?
Yeah.
No, not your real name.
Oh,
your real name's Rip Rogers.
I
mean, so what's the difference?
Because I was on nationwide television saying Rip Rogers is from Seymour, Indiana. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, so what if his said right there, Danny Basham? Then
that would be a completely different thing. Yes. Okay. Yeah. I would put him at number 2.
You would?
Yes, I would.
Over you, huh?
Yeah, because he had worldwide exposure on WWE.
Yeah.
That's what I was looking at.
There, you mentioned Baron Hill. He comes in at number 8. The Reno brothers, T. Weasel, they're on his Mount Rushmore. They're in at number 9, actually.
Okay.
How about that?
They were a hot item in 1800 and whatever the hell.
Pat Calhoun?
In 1881 or whatever.
Pat Calhoun.
Well, hell, he was
Olympian.
He was an Olympian.
Miss America and an Olympian. But to your point about Miss America, you think anybody can say, "Oh, what was that guy's name in the Olympics?" No. Same deal.
Well, I would have known. Because I knew him from Seymour.
Right.
Larry Crane, I knew him in Mellencamp's band.
Yeah,
but because I took guitar lessons with him at Silver's Music Store in Seymour. George Green, he was in my sister's class, and he was the guy flipping the bird on the pictures.
And he wrote songs for Mellencamp.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Right. He wrote all them songs.
Oh, dang it. Don't
Oh,
tell
that's
that story.
yeah. That's Chris Baker. He's from Brownstown. He's not from Seymour, Jackson County.
And then Terry Moore comes in at 16. So the who the ESPN guy or Big Ten guy, whatever he was.
Now, is your sister in there?
No.
Now, who was All State first? Her or your sister?
She's older than my sister.
Okay, so all right, she was.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was her, Erica McCoy, and my sister. All three were Indiana All-Stars.
Wow.
And at one time would have all been on the same team. Erica was a senior, Terry was a junior, and my sister was a freshman.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah. So pretty cool. So that's our little Seymour.
I think that was planned breeding.
Planned breeding.
Planned breeding. Yeah. All the top jock guys or whatever it was. I want to impregnate my wife so we can have a girls' super basketball team. And we're just hoping it would be a girl. If not, they'd have a guy. So what the hell, right?
I think it's pretty wild for a city as small as Seymour to have two, which really we can get into the other ones here in a minute too. But I'll go with two right now. Big time pro wrestlers, especially with such a age gap. I'm sure you had influence. You had to have influence on Danny Basham, I would think, growing up. But don't you think that's pretty remarkable, though, to think about the guys that have, like you, Dan, I mean, to be on national TV from Seymour, Indiana? I think it's pretty wild.
Well, I really hadn't thought about it. So
well, think about it now. What do you think?
I think it's the greatest thing we talked about today. How's that?
You think you were an influence to Danny Basham's wanting to get into wrestling?
I was probably a negative influence.
No way.
Hey, I went to his mom and his dad were both in my class at class of 1972 in Seymour.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, his dad. Mm-hmm.
Then we got some honorary Seymour people. I don't think they were directly from Seymour, even though we called them Seymour punks. The Real Deal Rod Steele and Lucky Sandlin, they weren't born in Seymour, were they?
Well, they were right borderline. They could have went like to Seymour or Crothersville, about 5 miles out towards on what's the highway 50?
Highway
50 going north. 50 going north. So the Steel Man was to the left, and Lucky was down the road a little bit on the right.
Got our camera here.
All the top stars.
So Lucky and the Rod Steele. So that even puts more people, professional wrestlers, Rip, that I think you influenced. I think you were a big influence in the area, in the Seymour area. Should feel good about that, man.
Well, John Cougar didn't live there, or John Mellencamp didn't live there.
I'm talking about all the wrestlers. I'm not fucking talking about John Mellencamp. I'm talking about me, Von Lilas, Danny Holly, Rod Steele, Lucky Sandlin. That crew right there, man.
Well, I come off the road and I couldn't talk to nobody because everybody was marks. So I had to smarten a couple guys up. So I had Steelman and Lucky become wrestlers. Then I could chahay and rib and have a good time with them. And you got in the mix, and all of a sudden we was just
weaseled my way in. How did I weasel my way in? Do you remember?
I can't remember.
Yeah.
Well, your dad. Remember the dad started having the shows.
He always came in. As a kid, I remember would set up chairs back in the day at Seymour High School. I would set up all the chairs and I would tape every seat with a number. So we would do sections like on the ring, and then I would number every chair with a little piece of tape.
I don't believe that.
And then you would come through after I'd have all the chairs set up
and move it.
It'd take like 3 big steps.
Oh, yeah.
And tell me how the fat women would be sitting down. Right. And then I have to move this row back and this row back. Then you'd mess up everything that I worked so hard to.
Well, should I just not said anything? Then it would have been total chaos.
I think it would have been fine either way, probably.
No, I've been through that before.
I think it would have been fine.
It wasn't my first county fair on setting stuff up.
And then I remember I tried to get into wrestling, and you told me
be a math
go to
teacher.
college. You had to go to college. God, that was so stupid. I mean, going to college wasn't bad, but being a math teacher was stupid. 22 years, what a waste. 22 years of my life.
Took you 22 years to figure it out, right?
Jesus. Well, it took me 22 years to find a woman that would let me.
That would let you play wrestling and play podcast.
Hope she's not watching today.
Walking around Jack with the hat on backwards.
That's right, baby. And then so I went and did that, and then I was like, all right, I went to college, let's do this. And you're like, well, you got to get a job first. And I went and got a job, and then went to work, did all that stuff. And then finally, you said, pick me up. We always argue where we went. I think somewhere right outside Peoria, Illinois.
No, it was not
You
Peoria.
said no. It was a little elementary school. You wrestled the Colorado Kid.
That's right.
I was your manager.
Mm-hmm.
T. Weasel went. I still got the foreign object. Oh.
You got it in your
object. I think it's in here.
Holy shit.
T-Weasel was there and did the sideways.
We'll do the drum roll.
Camera work.
We're waiting for the.
Here it is.
Uh-oh, there it is. Let me see.
That's where we
Uh-oh.
in Peoria.
Oh my God, that's hard. That hurt somebody. What the hell's the matter with you?
You did it.
Oh. Well, I guess it has been years that it's sort of solidified, hasn't it?
That's a pencil.
Oh, okay.
The foreign object, baby. Look at that foreign object.
It's a country object. It's not foreign. It's not from foreign.
This is what Rip would use.
And
then the little kid stole it out of my pocket. And the security guard went and took it from him and gave it back.
As Dale Mann would say, it's a foreign object.
And then we were leaving, and I asked what grade I got, and you said a C+ because I let
the
little third grader, steal the foreign object out of my pants.
Bloody wanker love.
Memories. Dutch Mantel was there. Dutch Mantel was there, and he's like, "Hey, how long you guys been doing it?" And I said,
Tonight.
Tonight. And it was like an early match. He was setting up you.
Is that when me and Dutch dressed in the hallway?
No, you were in the locker room.
Okay.
It was an early match, or something happened early to kind of set up your match. But anyway, Dutch hit the ring, and you were like, "He's going to hit the ring with that bullwhip.
You better get the hell out of there."
He said, "You better get out because you're still in there. He's going to hit you with it." And I was like, "Shit." So I got out. Dutch came running in.
Got the hell out of Dodge.
I took off. I don't know if we've mentioned your book today, Rip, or not. We've got the Rip Rogers here, pro wrestling, the book on pro wrestling, Lessons from Rip Rogers. You know, we haven't done anything out of this book for a little bit, Rip, so we've got about 10 minutes left of this show. I'm going to get into the book here and ask you to elaborate on a couple of these quotes. Now, a lot of times I ask you these quotes, and you're just like, "Oh, yeah, that's exactly what I meant."
Yeah. Okay, and what's your point?
I do have a point on this one.
When you was teaching math, you know.
I just hit this here. Too many punches with no marks of swelling means you can't punch. Limit them to face and oversell them. Treat punch as a real punch. It just reminds me about Memphis, though.
Yeah. See, I watched Lawler punch Buddy Landell 60 times. Then that was a finish.
And then...
So he had punched in the face.
And that was the finish?
That was the finish, yeah. So he punched him all those times. There's no blood. There's no swelling. There's no nothing. Better than it was.
So what about... Did Memphis ever, take heat for that?
Well, you got to remember, there wasn't no cable TV then. When there wasn't any cable TV, you could only see that was in your television area.
Yeah.
So if you was wrestling in Indianapolis, you didn't get Memphis. And it's like if you would see, if you would have went down and seen Eddie Graham's tape in Tampa, you'd said, "Oh my God, this thing's unbelievable." And then you'd see Memphis, and you go, it'd be different. But the people in each area were all conditioned to a different style of wrestling. Just like if you go to Mexico, everybody works the lucha libre style with the dives, nothing but high spots. Everybody wears a mask, etc. But that's normal there.
But the fans in Memphis, Louisville, whatever, I mean, they never ever figure out man, we've been watching this for a decade. And nobody ever shows any marks after all these Lawler punches or Jarrett punches.
No, they do. That was me watching an exaggerated thing. When we would watch it on, I couldn't stand to watch Jarrett's TV because of too many punches.
Yeah.
But to the fans that paid to see the money, they were used to that. That's what they grew up with. So that was accepted.
I mean, yeah, I liked Memphis. I always, as a kid, I would watch Memphis over that product WWF would put on. At that time with WWF, it would always be squash matches, boring. I mean, they were.
Well, you got to remember, years ago, your TV was put on, and the companies were paying to have their tape like an infomercial on TV.
Yeah.
So it was to get their stars over and lead into commercials for the next show at Louisville Gardens, whether it be Lexington, Evansville, Memphis, wherever you were at. It was basically a commercial to highlight your stars, maybe show some stuff that happened there last time on their tape in the local market, And it just because you got to remember, Memphis ran Memphis every week. They ran Louisville every week. They ran Evansville every week. So it was a turnover. It had to be more exciting. It's like if you watch Dick the Bruiser wrestling, they averaged about 17 shows a year in Indianapolis. So about on the average of every 3 weeks, you got a big wrestling show. And Indianapolis was a whole lot bigger than these other cities. So what Memphis was doing, they were drawing 8,000 in the early 1970s. They was drawing 8,000 people a show in Memphis. So, and that's about what Bruiser was doing, 8,000 to 9,000 at the Expo Center. But he had 4 times as many population and one show on the basis average of every 3 weeks too. But it was a slower style with shitty underneath matches. Then you went to see Dick the Bruiser pin the big or fight the big main event.
Yeah. Was that you that tweeted out that picture of the Sportatorium or whatever it was? Where was that at?
That was Dallas. That was the Von Erich's old place.
And how many did that hold?
God, probably about 4,000. You'd have to Google and it would tell you because they would have different setups and stuff. You know how the Shields gym in Seymour usually everybody's butts was this big in World War II.
Yeah.
And then later on, you couldn't get as many people as what the capacity was because everybody's ass got bigger because people in America got fat.
Speaking of bigger, Rip, don't ever think you're bigger than the sport. It was fine before you and will be just fine after you quit. Pass on the knowledge.
That's guys thinking they're over, that it's all them, that their shit don't fucking stink. No, it's just you're just playing a goddamn part like Sylvester Stallone plays Rocky or Rambo or the Tulsa King, whatever he's doing now. But anyway, we're actors in their roles for 20.
Yeah, 2 things on that. One, I can't even remember now where it was some kind of poll or some kind of something where like basically normal people were asked to name the last 5 WWE champions.
Well, you can't keep it up in WWE. They got too many belts. That's like when WWE first started. You can know that Buddy Rogers wins the belt. Then Bruno.
Maybe I answered that question wrong. Maybe I said that question wrong. First of all, Roman Reigns has been the champ for the last over a year, I think.
Okay.
So it's not longevity, but you are correct. Too many belts. Mm-hmm. Maybe the question was, have you heard of? Anyway, what I was trying to say is WWE used to have big stars. Like people knew, like I feel like whether you were a wrestling fan or not, you knew who Ric Flair was. You knew who Hulk Hogan was. You heard of him. Even going up to the Attitude Era, I think most people had heard of like The Rock and Stone Cold. But now what they were doing was asking normal people like, do you know who Roman Reigns is?
Well, Roman has been there how many years now, though?
But the answer would be no. People would say no.
Okay, well, you're look at the TV ratings when the other guys broke in, okay?
Yeah.
And how high of a share it was, and now you're looking at it with this much. Not very much.
Yeah, I mean, do you think that's it, or does the WWE truly just not want stars anymore? Do they like I'm trying to go back to that quote where are you saying, we'll make new stars or we'll put you're a character, you're playing a part. I feel like they're trying to push more like WWE rather than John Cena. Yeah, WWE rather than
it used to be like on a poster or the thing and it would say Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
Then little WWE wrestling. Now it's WWE wrestling.
Yeah.
It used to be the stars were bigger than the company, but now it's the company. It's like Chicago Bulls. No, Michael Jordan's coming.
Yeah.
Los Angeles Lakers. LeBron James is coming.
Yeah.
Muncie, Indiana.
Von
Lilas is coming.
Undefeated there, man. Undefeated.
You beat John Cena there, didn't you?
Beat John Cena. I beat everybody there. I beat you there. I beat John Cena there. I won a Battle Royals there. I beat Aaron the Idol Stevens there. I beat Rene Dupree there. I beat
you're like the
Deuce.
king. You was undefeated.
I beat Deuce and Domino there.
Both of them?
Yeah, well, me and the custodian.
Oh, took the custodian.
It took the custodian to help me out. But yeah, man, me and the custodian Trying to find that shirt. Want to get that shirt out there, man. We got a new shirt. All you people out there need to go. Michael Costello said on our live a little bit ago, Rip, he was going to go pick up a couple of these shirts. It is the Wrestling with Rip Rogers shirt at ProWrestlingTees.com. We got a brand new one. I mean, that's a good looking shirt, in Rip. Have you ever seen a shirt designed better than that one?
Let me see. I'm thinking. No, I think that's it.
Probably it. We got Rip Rogers' book.
And that's the greatest book ever designed there, too.
Greatest one on Amazon.com. Hey, go follow me on Twitter. Somebody follow me on Twitter. I get nobody to follow me on Twitter. At Von Lilas. Go give me a follow.
Especially if you're a hot girl.
One more. Next week, baby, we're going to get drunk. We're going to get high. We're going to get stoned. We're going to do so many dangerous drugs right here in Lilas Studios to celebrate 1 year. 1 year of being on the air. Wrestling with Rip Rogers. I can't wait, Rip. What do you think about that?
We're off the air.
No, we're not.
Oh,
We're
wow.
Yeah, big gold and a billfold, so swole that I can't get the shit closed. So I money fold and rubber band wrap, and when it